What is up, guys? It is the gaming news stuff here, and today I'm bringing you a video in which we are basically going to cover raids and guilds and a guide or tips on how to do decently well. Now, you should see up on screen at the moment, I am opening up a raid. Now, we've just started a tier 4 raid in my guild, and you will see the team I'm about to use. I have Count Dooku as the lead. I also use Luminara, Geonosian Soldier, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Rey. Now, this is my main arena team, who I also use for raids. Now, since the raid has just started, we'll be going up against the Gamorean Guards and his the Gamorean Captain and the Guards and all that fun stuff. As you can see here, he is about to spawn them in, and this is our first tier of the raid, or first phase, you might say. Now, basically, the plan for this is to take out the two captain, guards, etc. on either side of the captain before taking him out. Now, sorry, I keep moving around and getting closer to the mic and further away. I'll try and get that all sorted out. But yeah, because the units on the left and the right of the captain have the taunt ability. Now, I recommend taking out the unit on the left first, because his taunt also includes a re-attack, a counter. So if you attack him, he attacks you. So if you can take him out before he hits his taunt, it'll be a lot easier for you, and your units will take less damage. Now, the main captain also has the ability to inflict a death mark on you, which basically means if he gets this ability on one of your units, they take a lot more damage. So the problem about this is that there's not really any way to remove it unless you have a negative buff remover, which I currently don't have on this team. But if you use one, it may be good, may be helpful, but like I say, I don't. So the way you can do this is if it has been enough turns, you can actually use the escape button to escape if you've got the death mark on and you don't want that unit to die. But the problem about this is it may disadvantage your attacks and your damage dealt in that specific phase of the raid. You can also use the escape button if the enemy if it's been 15 turns and the enemy has the fearsome foe ability type thing activated up in the top left hand corner, which basically means although he takes more damage, he does a lot more damage, which means he can kill most of your units pretty quickly. So this is another and probably better use of the escape button, because once this is activated, your units are likely to die pretty quickly soon after. Okay guys, so now we have moved on to phase 2/3. Now, there isn't much difference between these two phases. The main difference is in phase 2, the rancor has more damage, protection, and in phase 3, he does more damage. So we are currently looking at phase 3 at the moment. Now, you can see he has the Devour ability, which basically means he can kill one of your units immediately. He can use this every 6 turns or whatever, but means he can target one of your characters and kill it immediately. Can't revive it, no dodging it or anything. So this is a lethal attack. Now, you can use a taunt unit to distract if you want a certain unit to die, but I personally don't use a taunt unit. Now, you can see here the door control panel. Now, attacking this as soon as it's got a health bar is the best course of action, because as you see, once you destroy it, the door comes down on the rancor, leaving him stunned so he can't attack you. Now, this results in a bunch of buffs to your units, which means you deal a lot of damage to the rancor. As you can see, we are getting crits on every attack, and every attack is doing more damage than it normally would do. So this basically allows you for a free turn of damage against the rancor, to do as much damage as possible. Now this is one of the big strategies for phase 2 and 3, to use the door control panel as much as you can. Now another good strategy is to use Qui-Gon Jinn's normal attack or any attack that reduces turn meter. Now these attacks are actually really good when he gains his Devour ability, because if you can constantly reduce his turn meter, it'll result in him not being able to devour you and you getting more and more damage in on him. Now, the Rancor is similar to the Gamorean Guards in the way that you just have to try and get as much damage as possible on him. So just use all your strongest attacks, because he doesn't have any guards, so there's nothing he's got to protect him. So you just hit him with everything you've got as hard as possible. Now, he's not too difficult at phase 4. Like obviously you can't take him out in one hit. But there's also, like the Gamorean Guards, the Fearsome Foe ability that after 15 turns he becomes almost like impossible to survive, because he deals immense damage and does heaps of damage to you. Now, another good thing for this phase 2 and 3 may be to bring in a debuff remover. Again, I don't have one, but since the Rancor deals a lot of healing immunity debuffs to your characters, it'll be really helpful so that you can heal up your characters before they die. Because that's one issue I do have regularly in the raid, is the healing immunity that he deals to me means that unit normally ends up dying because I've got no way of healing them. Now, I don't have a full video of me fighting in phase 2 and 3 because the video did cut out, but the main strategies are to hit him with everything you've got, try and let him attack as little as possible by turn meter reduction, and most importantly, hit that door control panel as soon as possible whenever you get the chance, because it is the best way to get as much damage as possible against the Rancor. Okay guys, so we're now here on phase 4. The raid that I was doing the previous video parts on has actually ended, so I had to start a new raid, and we did tier 3 this time, so I could get to this point in the raid quite quickly because it is the final phase. Now, the difference between phase 4 and phase 3 and 2 is basically the Rancor no longer has the Devour ability, so you can't instant kill your units, and there's also no door to get amazing damage on him. And he also has an extra 25% speed, and his abilities cool down 100% faster. So there's some things that make him easier and some that make him harder. But basically, how it works is that you'll just be going up against the Rancor alone, no aid from anything else. He doesn't have any benefits really, except for when he manages to go and finish up the 15 turns up in the top left hand corner again, you'll notice he does a lot of damage. I was like, my units weren't dying at all, and then all of a sudden he killed 3 of them in one hit. So that was pretty terrifying, but you should be able to get a good amount of damage out on him first. So the plan for this phase is basically get as much damage as possible. There's not really much you can do otherwise, just try and hit him with as much damage, maybe include your debuff units again, if you've got them, because again, they'll be really quite helpful to get rid of the debuffs on your team. And also, don't get too attached to your buffs, because one of his special abilities basically gets rid of all your buffs. So don't bring in a buff unit expecting it to help you heaps, because normally it doesn't, because it's a pretty quick refreshing ability of his too. Now, this phase I'd say is probably the easiest, because like I say, he doesn't have an instant kill and all of that, and it's just 1v5 and doing as much damage as possible. So there's not really much to say for this phase. Just go in there, get that final bit of damage before the raid ends, and hope and pray that you're first in your guild. Anyway guys, I do hope that this little raid guide helped for anyone that is struggling with raids and techniques for the raid. And just remember, practice makes perfect, smash it out, and soon you'll be making that sick loot and getting your characters up to 10 bloody gear. Anyway guys, make sure to like, comment and subscribe if this guild raid thingo helped you out, and peace out.